Morez Johnson's headed to Michigan. He's committed to Michigan, at least at this point. It sounds like that's where he's probably going to go at the very least. Very, 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 very popular by demand guy out there in the transfer portal, obviously, as we've talked about. So if you want a reaction related to him putting or going into the transfer portal, I have a video up on the YouTube channel. You can go check that out. It's kind of old. A little bit longer. I think this video will probably range around the same amount of length as well. So stick around, hit the like button for me at the very least on this YouTube video. But all I can say is that in this video, this is more of a, kind of putting an end to the discourse. I'm going to be done talking about Merez Johnson for a while, at least until the season, unless some more crazy stuff comes out, of course. But this is kind of just me putting an end to the entire thing, which, before Ty Rodgers decided to come back, this was the biggest surprise of the entire offseason so far for Illinois, for me at least. And I think a lot of Illini fans. And so we are at a point now where it feels like, this is coming to an end, and he's going to play Illinois at State Farm Center next year. And while that is fun, if you want to talk about sports and competitiveness and narratives and all that stuff, which make sports fun, while all that is true, I'm just going to put a bow on this and say that it's just really disappointing that we got to this point. I think that's the biggest thing. And so while I want college athletes to be able to go and do whatever is best for their career, there's a lot of crap out there that it rubs me the wrong way in this transfer portal era. And I'm not the only one. I'm not saying anything that's new to people, right? I don't really know what to really say that's not going to come off as, I don't want to say offensive, but just like, if Morez Johnson were to watch this, he would just say that he probably will come away saying that I'm just another dumb fan that doesn't know what's going on the inside. And you know what? That's fine. He has every right to feel however he wants to feel. But I also think that when you're committed to Illinois for as long as he was before his freshman season, the fact that you were Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois and all these things, it just rubs me the wrong way that you're going to transfer after 1 year and stay in conference as well. You had offers from schools outside the Big Ten. You could have gone to Arizona. You could have gone to Arkansas. You could have gone anywhere. Instead, you decide to go to Michigan. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. You went to a program that until last season was on the downturn, thanks to Juwan Howard. Maybe Dusty May's going to get this thing right. They went to the Sweet 16 this year in year one. I do think Dusty May is a better coach than Juwan Howard. But I just sit here wondering, what are they going to do that's any different than what Illinois was going to do? Do you think Michigan is going to prioritize him to be a top 3 option offensively in their rotation? I guess we'll see. But I don't personally think so. And so what's the difference? Isn't that the reason that he wanted to leave Illinois, is because probably money, but also he didn't like the role that he was in. He thinks he can do more offensively. Doesn't want to be the next Kofi Coburn. I don't know, man. The way this all transpired, it's mind-blowing. I was listening to Illini Inquirer podcast, and Derek Piper said on their most recent episode that, just a few weeks ago, Merez's camp was telling them that, he's returning, we'd have an agreement, all these things, and then suddenly he's entering the transfer portal. It rubs me all the wrong way, and it should. And so we are where we're at. I will not sit here and wish him ill will. I will not wish an injury on him. I will not wish his career to go on to end up like a Adam Miller's, perhaps, or a Jaden Epps, or anyone else that's transferred out of Illinois that's gone on and not really necessarily done anything spectacular. I won't wish that on him. I think he's going to be awesome if just in the role that he is in, defense, rebounding, I think there is an offensive game in there for him. I do. And that's one of the reasons I'm very hurt about this. But I just don't know how I don't know how he goes in Michigan and things change in year 2 than it would have been at Illinois. That's all I'm saying. Now down the road, year 3, year 4, perhaps. Yeah. So that's kind of my take on it. Tim Anderson guy. Tim Anderson not with the program, right? How much does that have to do with it? It all just rubs me the wrong way. And I'm not trying to repeat myself. It's just I'm more shaking my head at this and just how college basketball has put itself. There's so many kids entering the transfer portal. So many kids. And I think Illini fans who are questioning Brad on this, it's like, how can you do that when you see all the kids who are entering the transfer portal? And I do think Illinois prioritized him and Tommy. I do think they are prioritized. And Kylan. Obviously, Kylan Boswell announced yesterday that he's returning. So, I think Illinois will be fine. But when you talk about why you watching this, me doing this, why I even care to begin with, guys like Morez Johnson are reasons why we all even like Illinois or like whatever team we like. A guy who committed to Illinois early, a guy from the state, a guy from Chicago, right? Becomes an instant fan favorite, transfers at the end of the season in shocking fashion, and then goes to, let's just call it a conference rival. It's annoying. It's emphatically annoying, and I'm looking forward to beating Michigan for the 10th straight time next season. I really am. I like beating Michigan. I really do. It got, for a while there, got a little boring because Juwan Howard's teams were so bad, but I guess I'm going to embrace the hate watch of Michigan next year for sure. Again, I'm not rooting for him to be bad, but I ain't rooting for him to be good either. So that's that. Now, to go with a lot of this, I thought Meyers Leonard, a Illini legend from back when I was a early 20s college kid. Fun fact, his best friend went to Eastern Illinois University, where I went to school. And so Meyers Leonard was on campus all the time when he was in school, at least. Anyway, he sent a handful of tweets. It's about 5 days ago, and I haven't talked about it on here, but I wanted to read it and then kind of, I don't know, go in more depth with it, right? So it's a thread. His very first tweet is, before he sends these tweets, this has absolutely nothing to do with any of the players that have come and gone from University of Illinois basketball program. I'm speaking strictly from my experience when I was at school there. I'm very thankful that I went from virtually unknown to a fairly highly recruited high school basketball player. But I'll tell you this, the only school I was waiting on was the University of Illinois. It was my dream to play for the Illini, and I'm so grateful that I did. Now, I have absolutely no idea what the NIL is like, what a transfer portal is like, what it's like to hire an agent and make so much money in college. I truly don't, because I didn't experience it. I also think it's great that players are being compensated. But I will also say I love that playing for the Illini was just about representing the state of Illinois, my hometown, etc. I wouldn't have it any other way. Hell, I don't know what I would have done with the money some of these guys are making. I simply loved Illini basketball. Here's the part I really wanted to get to. My freshman year, after being highly recruited, I stunk, to be honest. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't used to the physicality of the Big Ten basketball, and we had two senior bigs that were darn good college basketball players. After my freshman season, I cried in Coach Weber's office for the entire 1 hour postseason review of my season. I was embarrassed. I didn't think I was good enough to play at U of I, and I had just averaged 8.2 minutes, 2.1 points, 2.1 points. Awful. He looked me straight in my eyes and told me that he believed in me and that he was going to help me get an invite to the USA U19 team that he tried out for and made, and that I was going to come back my sophomore year and absolutely kick ass. Well, I guess I did somewhat. That I just flat out had to look in the mirror, realize how much harder I needed to work than I already was, get stronger, and actually get better at basketball. No finger pointing, no blaming everyone else around me. It was up to me to figure it out, and I'm glad I did. I'm so grateful for my 2 years at University of Illinois. What an awesome school. Great academics, great basketball program with rich tradition, fun college campus, close to home, representing the state of Illinois, and I met the love of my life. All in all, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm simply saying that I wish these young men would sometimes find it from deep within to be more loyal, to take accountability if they don't play the way they know they can play, and not just leave. Okay, I'm done now. To the University of Illinois Illini fans, Champaign, Robinson, the whole state of Illinois, and anyone else who ever believed in this small town kid, thank you. And thank you for never giving up on me. I love y'all. The last one before, like the second to last tweet, is like really what resonates with me the most. All in all, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm simply saying that I wish these young men would sometimes find it from deep within to be more loyal, to take accountability. And if they don't play the way they know they can play, and not just leave. Now, Merez Johnson was awesome this year, right? For a freshman, one of the best rebounders in the Big Ten. I do think he will be better. I do think he'll be better with Michigan because I think his ceiling is so high. And that's what makes this so agonizing as a fan. So to what Meyers is saying, that he wishes these players would have a little bit more loyalty, I think from a fan standpoint, it's like, yeah, absolutely. They should care more about Illinois. He clearly cared about Illinois, even though he left after 2 years, but he was projected to be a lottery pick. I think he went like 12th or 13th in the draft the year after he came out. So I don't care. Like if Morez Johnson would have projected for a first round pick or whatever after 1 year and he decided to go, I would have wished him well. Just like I'm going to wish Kasparis Jakashonis and Will Riley well, right? But what he's saying is if you didn't play to what you expected, or if you didn't get to play the role that you didn't want to play or whatever, don't just get up and leave. Work to earn that role. And this isn't just a Merez Johnson thing. This is a college basketball thing. This is a college basketball thing. There's a reason that all these kids are in the transfer portal. They don't want to earn the role. They just want to go where a coach says, yeah, you're going to do this. And they don't want to work for that role. All while getting paid. And so as much as I agree with Meyers in terms of everyone deserves to be paid, the NCAA has made so much money off these players for decades, right? Before NIL. As much as I agree that they should be paid, I also feel like if you're going to go to a place, then commit to actually doing something there and improving your game while you're there. And that's my biggest problem with Merez Johnson is the fact that he was awesome. He was awesome last season for a freshman big man in the Big Ten. And because probably the Illinois coaching staff told him that he wasn't going to be prioritized on the offensive end, he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And I do think his parents are probably giving him some bad advice too. And so it's frustrating as a fan that we sit here year in and year out and we're just New team every year. There's no more Trent Frazier's. There's no more Coleman Hawkinses. There's no more Io DeSumu's. And that's not good for college basketball, man. It's just not. Now, I thought Dee Brown had some good tweets as well. He was basically talking about the same situation. He tweets a lot, so I got to scroll down a little bit here. Okay. This was 4 days ago. He said, my Illini family going off on here today. I understand your frustration. It's okay. Everyone is dealing with the same issues. With time, things will change for the better. Be more positive. I get it. Positivity. The program is in a great place. Illini fans have always been like this. I call it passion. We love hoops. I get it. I played in a different era. I can't speak about today's game and what I would have done or made. Be positive. It's a different time in college hoops. Talk about it amongst each other. Talk your talk. I get it. Get it all out. It's how you feel, and then you have every right to feel that. But the fact of the matter is we must adjust until things change. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. So I think what Dee Brown is basically saying here is that he doesn't really have the right to share an opinion because he didn't play in this era of basketball with NIL and stuff. And that's what brings me back to when I'm saying that, like, I don't have disdain for Morez Johnson and when he's thinking about his career, right? But it's a very, very, very unfortunate situation. I think that's the clearest thing I can say. It's just a very, very unfortunate situation. And I think that's what Dee Brown is saying in those tweets too. And so at some point, the NCAA, my easy fix for this, and I don't even know if it's an easy fix, but my immediate thought is like, can we implement contracts? When a guy commits to Illinois or wherever, and they're a high school, they're in high school still, and they're coming in as a freshman. Can we get them to sign a contract that commits 2 years at least? Like, maybe not for transfers, but like incoming freshmen, right? Like, can we at least do that? Because I do think, especially those kids from the mid-majors, let's use Bennett Sturts. Played D2 basketball, follows his coach to Drake, becomes one of the best mid-major players this past season, and I believe is committed to Iowa now because that's where his coach went again, right? He has made it to the Big Ten after playing in D2. I believe that's the facts. Either way, lower level, and it has reached this level now, and it's actually an incredible story, right? But this guy isn't an incoming freshman. If you're at the mid-major level and you're a junior, sophomore, junior, whatever, going into your junior season, and you ball out and you put yourself in transfer portal and you got high major schools coming after you, good for you, dude. Absolutely good for you. But these high major freshmen, they just want, and it feels like they don't want to work. That's what it feels like. I could be wrong about some of them, right? Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, great example. Everyone thought he was in transfer last year, comes back after having some really fun moments in the NCAA tournament. He entered a transfer portal after this year, and I don't blame him. Because I don't think Illinois really played to his strengths, right? So I hope that he goes on and has a better career wherever he goes. But for him, it made sense. And for him, it actually makes sense to enter the transfer portal. To me, the transfer portal is perfect for someone like Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, not Merez Johnson. So this is my This is my end. It is what it is. I'm not going to cheer for the guy to get hurt or anything like that, but it just rubs me the wrong way. And I look forward to beating Michigan. And if I'm watching Michigan next year and all Morez Johnson is doing is rebounding the basketball, playing defense, and being like a defensive presence and whatever, and Michigan isn't utilizing him on the offensive side of the basketball at all, I will sit here, put my hands up, and say, your parents screwed you, dude. Because to me, that's what it is. It's bad advice from some parents. That's what it feels like. You could have been an Illini legend. You absolutely could have, Merez. You absolutely could have. I hope you get better and you go on the NBA and have and all of that. I really do. But it didn't have to be this route, dude. It really didn't have to be this route. And it is what it is. It is what it is. I agree with what Meyers Leonard said, and I also agree with what Dee Brown said. We are just in an era where there is no loyalty. It is about money. It is about if you don't get what you want in terms of a role plus money, you're out of here. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Hit that like button on here. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Got a bunch of brand new subscribers the last couple of days, and I appreciate y'all. We got more videos coming up throughout the day here on this channel. And so I appreciate y'all's support, and we'll continue to follow Illinois' offseason. And I'm happy to be done talking about Merez Johnson. All right. See you.